Hey everyone, today I'm actually doing a backpacking trip, an overnight trip in Sequoia National Forest. Finally getting another good one in. It's one of the most popular backpacking trips in the park, and that is the Lakes Trail to Pear Lake, which is an alpine lake. So there's two seasons for permits here. There's the quota season where they limit the amount of people who go into the trailhead, and then there's the non-quota season where you can self-issue permits. I am on the second to last day of the non-quota season because I hate fighting for permits with people. So if you're picking up a permit during the quota season, this one is so popular that you can't reserve it. It's first come, first serve. You pick it up at the Lodgepole Ranger Station. Um, in the non-quota season, you pick it up at the Giant Forest Museum, which is like 4 to 5 miles away from Lodgepole. So that's where I am right now. I'm at the Giant Forest Museum, and I'm going to go to the self-registration station and pick up my permit. So straight ahead of me, you can see it says Wilderness Permits Self-Registration. They're just in here, right here. So I'm going to fill this out. If you're wondering why this is called Giant Forest, let me pan around. It's because of these guys. These are the giant sequoias. You can see some off to the right too. Let me try to pan up. They are just huge, huge trees. And these are just the ones by the parking lot. There's a couple over here too. There's trails in the giant forest that actually go to some immense trees. And this almost burned this last year in the it was the KNP complex fire. And then here's a museum right here that has information on giant sequoias, and there's some behind it too. But because the trailhead is adjacent to the sequoias and not actually in the sequoias, this is an extra little treat. Okay, so now I'm at the Wolverton parking area, about to head up the Lakes Trail. Just stored all of my remaining smellables, that's my extra food and my toiletries, and I'm gonna start heading up an elevation. The trailhead said 6.2 miles to Pear Lake. I've also seen it as 7. There are 2 alternate routes to kind of get over to the lakes area. So I'll probably take one today and the other one tomorrow. But the first part of this hike is going uphill through a very lovely pine forest, but it is uphill. Pear Lake itself is like 9,200 feet in elevation. Just under 2 miles in and approaching the first, I would say, major trail junction. And as this one goes, we're going to Pear Lake. We hit Heather Lake first. This one we have to go to the left. And it's the next trail junction where I should have the option of 2 different routes up to that, general basin where the lakes are. By the way, it smells so good. Like, I wish I could transmit this smell. It's pine, but it's not like Christmas tree pine. It's more of a lighter floral pine, kind of mixed with caramel and vanilla. I have not found a candle that replicates it. It's amazing. Okay, this is the junction I was thinking of. It looks like my decision has been made for me. There's this hump trail, which cuts straight up through these contour lines over the ridge and down into the basin where the lakes are. And then there's the trail that has the watchtower. Really, really scenic. More gradual, it kind of goes around that ridge, but looks like it is still closed due to hazardous conditions, meaning the snow and the ice haven't fully melted. So, I haven't taken this trail before. I've only taken the other one because it makes more sense. But checking out the hump trail today. You can see there's some residual snow. I'm getting to the hump part of the hump trail. Should be at about 9,500 feet, well over 2,000 feet higher than the parking lot. And after this, should be dropping down into the basin where all the lakes are. Let's see. Really beautiful waterfall across the way. Let's zoom in on that. And back down to the other side of the hump. Gotta go over a snow patch here. The trail coming down the hump was actually a little difficult to follow because snow patches and the trails that people have made around snow patches. So we're at the watchtower, which comes from just kind of over here. You can see there's still some snow on it too. Gorgeous, gorgeous views coming around the hump instead of going over it. One of the detractors of doing this in the non-quota season is obviously that route might be closed. You might actually need mountaineering gear to get up here if it's a decent snow year. It's been a dry year, and the lake is going to be very cold, so you got to bring your cold gear for at night. So pluses and minuses to doing this outside the quota season. But holy cow, you get over that hump and it is just a different beast out here. There's some of those metal signs you can follow if you want to try to snowshoe up here. I'm a little intrigued by that, but I have not done that. I don't know, maybe it's because you have to earn these views, but they seem just more wild and rugged. And not long after that sign, we come to the first of the lakes. This is Heather Lake. This is a lake you cannot camp at, but I'm just gonna go down and take a look at it because it is a gorgeous lake. I'm gonna find the outlet because the outlet to this lake is kind of cool. Okay, this is the outlet for Heather Lake. Beyond those logs, it kind of spills out in a cascade heading towards lower elevation. That's what all these alpine lakes are. They're just snowmelt deposits that flow over, start heading downhill, join up, and eventually form those rivers. But they are so beautifully clear. So all that snowmelt. Obviously there's silt in there too. But this is Heather Lake. Tiny bit more snow. Let me see if I can zoom out. Tiny bit more snow than this time last year, which is good because last year was a super dry year, bad fires. It's pretty dry this year too, but maybe a tiny bit more snow. And there's a marmot. This is how you know you are higher up in the elevations of the Sierra. It's an unusually friendly marmot, which probably means somebody's been feeding them. Please do not feed the marmots. It just causes all sorts of problems. And then they'll start chewing through your stuff too. They are cute though. Stepped off the trail a little bit and put the camera in wide zoom because this is kind of comparable to the view you get when doing the Watchman Trail. It's just a little bit further this way. So you can see this waterfall coming down. That leads to, or it might actually be the Marble Fork of the Sequoia River, which goes down into this canyon here where Lodgepole Campground is located. And kind of down here is a waterfall that you can hike to. I think it's called Falls or something like that. It's a really nice hike. It's not even that far, but this is where that waterfall originates, way back here. Let's see if I can zoom in. Maybe that's a little too much zoom. Way back here in the back country. So that's that. Wide zoom again. And then this is the rest of that. And the trail is right down here to the right. And get back on it. A little bit further down, still in view of that nice cascade back there. This is Aster Lake. Should be getting close to it. And right now, sort of where that basin is with all the snow, is Emerald Lake. And Emerald Lake you can actually camp at. There are campsites there, so I will stop and so everybody can see them. Junction for Emerald Lake. Pear Lake goes to the left. There used to be a sign here that showed where the campsites are because you can camp here. I'm guessing this is one because there's a bear box. But I'm going to go down to the shoreline and take a look at the lake. And this is Emerald Lake. Really, really beautiful. Even has some little cascades coming down over here. And then I think you can see it higher up too. Right here. Very cool. And a nice alternative if you don't want to go all the way to Pear Lake, or if you don't want to fight people for campsites at Pear Lake. So the camping is downstream here. We actually have to cross this outlet on the trail to get to Pear Lake anyway. Nice view down the valley where Lodgepole is. Way at the bottom there is kind of the elevation started this hike at. You can see kind of above tree line at this point. So where it was, try to do it slower, green before, it's gonna be all rock. But oh look, there's a little waterfall across the way. That's the nice thing about snowmelt time. See if we can find it in my screen. Oh yeah, it's right there in the middle. That's the nice thing about snowmelt time, is you have all these waterfalls that are seasonal, basically. They're not real streams, they're just snowmelt doing its thing. But now we're in the rocks and doing the final turn into the Pearl Lake area. All right, I have a campsite overlooking Pear Lake, and it's fairly near these nice vault toilets that are here as well. Campsites were a little hard to find. They're marked with these cairns, and when you first come in over here past the outlet, there's a quote-unquote map. It seems like it was made with Microsoft Paint. That gives you the general area of where the campsites are, and you kind of have to find them. Last time I did this, I was actually on this hill right over here. Great unobstructed views overlooking the lake, but you have to scramble down the rocks and cross the outlet if you want to use the vault toilets. And right now the outlet is either a very sketchy log crossing or a ford. So gonna stay on this side of the outlet this time and then just deal with that when morning comes. But pretty nice view even with the trees. Some trout that we're feeding. That's so cool. So the shadows are starting to creep in on the lake, so I'm just gonna spend the rest of the day chillaxing at the shoreline, watching one, let's see, two, and three cascades, along with my little marmot friend over here. Here he is. Alright, it's morning now. Birds are chirping very loudly. It was cold as expected, but time to get up and head back. Got some nice morning light on the tops of the mountains as I say goodbye to Pear Lake and start heading out over this outlet that I did not show yesterday. So come up on it quick. Okay, so need to cross this, which would be getting your feet wet, or there is this jumble of logs down here. Got this gorgeous soft morning light streaming through this pass to the east. It literally does not translate to camera. It's missing all the subtleties of the glow. I wish it did. But then we've got the Marble Fork of the Sequoia, and then looking back down towards Lodgepole, and this thing sticking out right here is the watchtower of the watchtower route. You can kind of see it. It follows basically this cliff face here, and yeah, there's still some snow in there. It's a gorgeous route when it's snow free. It's a less intense route when it's snow free, but it's closed right now. The rangers have still closed it. So I'm gonna take the hump trail back. Probably be getting back a lot quicker on the video, and actually, because I highlighted most of this stuff on the way out, and let me get on trail here. And I'm mostly going downhill on the way back. If you live at sea level like me, uphill at 8,000, 9,000 feet is a little bit more of a chore than it should be. But heading back, got 3 lakes to pass, got the hump trail, and then it's down to the parking lot. More morning light, and this is what the Sierra is. It does really well, is the morning light. John Muir called it the range of light. I don't know if it was because of sunrise or whatever, but that's looking towards Emerald Lake. Down here you might be able to see the reflections there. That's Aster Lake. And then look at this, looking down towards Lodgepole. Mornings here are so beautiful. So beautiful. I just got screamed at by a pika. That's this little guy right here. If you've seen my John Muir videos, you know I love pikas. Absolutely love them. In California, they're only found at really high elevations because they will die with too much heat. Oh man, that's exciting. Over the hump now, heading down, and I have a new friend. I see deer a lot. This one's starting to get horns too. Focus, there we go. I see deer a lot, especially in the mornings and the evenings. So if you go to these forested areas early in the morning or late in the evening, you're very likely to see deer. All right. Still finishing this hump trail, and then that will be it. Well, once I get down to the bottom of this descent. That's a bear. That's a bear. Oh my god. See if we can get him come out the other side. Oh my god. Really checking off the wildlife checklist here. Wow. I am really not that far from the trailhead either. Oh, here he comes again. Okay, that's a bear. And back at the parking lot. That was a nice little overnight trip. That was a lot of fun, a lot of wildlife. But that's it for this trip. Sequoia National Park hasn't disappointed me yet.